Today I'm going to be installing a hydraulic thumb on my Landhero LDH KV16. Anybody who has one of these Landheros knows that the bracket mount for the thumb is not the same as the AGT and similar machines. So you can't just go out and buy a kit for it. So I went on Send Cut Send and I had a bracket made. I'll make these files available to anyone who wants them later. But this is how we're going to mount our hydraulic thumb. Now, I wish I could say it was easy as just bolt the bracket on and attach the thumb and it's done. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. I'll show you what I mean. Seems pretty straightforward so far, till we try to go put the bolt in. Because as soon as we get down here, we realize the bolt head is running into the frame of the arm. These are M24 bolts, 24mm bolts, which is, 1 millimeter smaller than these bore holes are. But also the holes in here, I think mine, the arm bracket is not perfectly straight. I had to really hammer the pins out originally, so I figured a smaller size bolt will fit, and it fits fine. Also, it's a lot cheaper than trying to find 25mm bolts in this size. So I'll have links to where I ordered everything, in the description when we're done here. So the first thing I got to do though is I have to grind down a little spot on each part of the arm here, so that we can fit so the bolts will actually fit. And we only do that on one side because the head of the bolt, well, the head is the same size, right? But it's okay to have a flat resting up against the frame for one side. In fact, it'll make it a little easier for tighten things up. I think I still need 2 wrenches though. Now, I probably don't have to do this. I'm only doing this because of the size of the bolts I got. If you got clevis pins for, you can get 1-inch clevis pins that have 2-inch travel. That'll be enough to fit here. You probably actually have to have a couple washers to go in there and tighten it up. That would work just fine, and you wouldn't have to do the grinding. You can order those from Granger, I think. But I didn't do that. I ordered bolts, so this is why I'm doing this. Now, these brackets I ordered. Got these from Send Cut Send. I went on a computer, I made a drawing. It's what I do, so I'm used to that kind of work. I ordered these in 1/4-inch steel. I could probably, almost certainly, would be better off if I went with a thicker steel. And so when anyone else who uses this file can make their own decision about what size of steel they want to use. The nice thing about this is, though, it just bolts right on. It's not like I'm welding it on. So if this turns out to be too weak, if I end up bending this, I can order it in larger steel. I could order it in 1/2-inch steel. I got bolts that are plenty long enough to support a lot thicker brackets. Okay, so I've been using this for about 2 hours, according to the hour meter on the machine, and I've started noticing a slight crack right there. Just a little one, but it's on both sides. So don't order this in 1/4-inch steel. Definitely get the 1/2-inch steel. In fact, I think I might modify the drawing slightly so that there's a little more strength on that point, because right at the top of that pin seems to be where a lot of these fail, the homemade ones I've seen. So yeah, I'll back to the video. There we go. Now again, I'm using M24 bolts, but if you had clevis pins, especially for this one, a 25mm clevis pin or a 1-inch clevis pin would definitely fit better. But I'm using bolts because that's what I ordered when I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. Okay. Take the plastic protective caps off of the hydraulics. There we go. Squeak. So I have a working thumb. Well, kind of working. Still have to do the hoses, right? So like many of these, the hoses do not connect straight to the machine. You need to get these little, what are they, M14 to M16 adapters. Because I'm not sure why. All of them are like that. I'm not sure why. This up here is an M16 to M16. Where'd my other wrench go? Come on. There we go. Got it off. One thing I wanted to mention about these brackets here is I ordered them with a gloss powder coat on them. There's all kinds of colors. There's all kinds of whatever. You can get it painted or whatever. If you wanted to, you could order these plain, just plain steel, and weld them on. That's part of how I designed it. These notches in here aren't just decorative. The idea is instead, if you didn't want to bolt it on, you wanted to weld it on, get 2 1/2-inch thick ones so it's really beefy, right? It's never going to come off. You can use these notches in here as points for welding, and then on the inside, you notice it's flat on the top, so now you have space here between those bolts to weld it in. So it gives you room around it to get a firm weld on it. If you wanted to do it that way, I don't like welding. I mean, I do like welding. Welding's fun. I don't like doing things permanent when I can bolt them on, though. Especially when I'm experimenting with a new thing, and it might break, and I might need to do it again. So that's why I did it this way. If you're interested, I'll have links to the files and whatnot in the description so that you can go order this for your Landhero. Like I said, Granger has clevis pins, that has 1-inch clevis pins, and I got these bolts from ACCU, which is a British company. So, but you know, either way, it's going to cost you like, well, as of today, it's going to cost you like $40. It could be more. Who knows? It's tariffs nowadays. Another thing is, as you can see, this is branded Future because that's the brand that it was that when I got it at auction. But this, I believe, is the Miva type thumb is what I installed. So like everything is kind of based around that. If you ordered an AGT type that has the L bracket, but you couldn't use the L bracket that came with it, I'm not 100% sure that that's going to fit, that that's going to work for your needs. So can't make any guarantees there. That's how we do it, and it works good, and I'm very happy that now I have a hydraulic thumb and I can grab stumps and stuff when I'm trying to do work here.